What's going on, people? What's going on? Welcome to the Legends Talk Basketball Podcast, where we dive into the heart and soul of the game with those who know it best. I'm your host, Cal Griffin, and in each episode, we'll explore the inspiring journeys, unique perspectives, and behind the scenes stories from incredible players, coaches, media personalities, and other inspiring people from the basketball world. Whether you're a diehard fan or you're just curious about what happens off the court, we've got you covered with the insightful conversations that highlight the legends, both emerging and established, who shaped the game that we all love. Today we got a treat for you, man. We're thrilled to have Erin Schiffman joining us, one half of the Ballers Journal and a phenomenal photographer who's making waves in the basketball world. With her incredible eye and passion for the sport, Erin has carved out a very unique lane for herself, capturing moments that tell powerful stories and create unforgettable experiences. So grab your popcorn, go do what you got to do, get comfy, and let's jump into the world of basketball through Erin's lens. Legends Talk. Let's try that one more time. Legends Talk, y'all. What's going on, E?
Hey, what's up? How you
How you
doing?
doing? How you doing?
I'm
I'm
great.
great.
I'm
I'm
happy
great.
to be here. Happy to see you.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us here on Legends Talk. You know, we've known each other for a long time, man, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have you on.
I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
No doubt. But before we get into it, I got to shout out our sponsor real quick, Soul Pack, man. Soul Pack, as you know, is a terrific bag company, man, making wonderful products for those people in the basketball world. Um, real quick, real quick graphic on what Soul Pack does and what they bring to the table. So check them out.
Soul Pack.
Yeah, we got our first NBA bag, and people are like, yo, that's crazy, man. I remember coming home and telling my mom, I was like, yo, mom, we made it.
We created a backpack for Allen Iverson. I seen that Soul Pack, they had these bags. I thought they were pretty fly.
We reach out to that true baller, right? The person that wakes up at 5 in the morning and dedicates their whole lives for the love of what you do. My name is Mike Sala. I'm the founder and CEO of Soul Pack, and this is my hustle.
Again, that's Soul Pack. Make sure you go check them out at thesoulpack.com. They're online, Instagram, etc., etc. Make sure you go check them out. Go make a purchase. Tell them Cal Griffin Central, all things hoops, and they family over there. So, but yeah, with no further ado, Erin Schiffman, man, the Ballers Journal. One half of the Ballers Journal. Appreciate you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much. Happy to be here.
For those people that may not know, Erin, you're a photographer. You're a creative. Let's just say creative, because you do a lot more than just photography. But yeah, tell me about a little bit how you got started with photography and whether or not that kind of coincided with your love of the game, and how did you kind of mix the two and come up with what we know now as the Ballers Journal.
Yeah. So I've always been a creative, I would say, ever since I was a child. I've always loved to pick up a camera and take photos. It was nothing I ever did in terms of basketball. That kind of started when I have two sons, and my oldest started playing at Millbank in Harlem, and I started meeting all of these really interesting people, and I was just a diehard basketball fan. And I grew up actually in Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, so AI was always kind of like my guy. Then I moved to Kansas to go to high school, and I became probably like the biggest Kansas Jayhawks fan of all time. I'm a diehard fan. I don't miss a game. So when my sons were born, they were instantly put in Kansas onesies, and we watched games. Like, I have a ton of pictures of them, and from growing all the way up, I always had a Kansas. I mean, that was always a Christmas gift every year, was a new Kansas t-shirt. So yeah, he started falling in love with basketball and wanted to play. I found Millbank in Harlem, and just started meeting all these really cool people with great stories. And that was when I really started to have a different perspective of the game. I became a basketball mom, but I was really just a fan. But then I started to see how much bigger it is than just the game, right? It's not only a lifestyle, but it changes people's lives. This
Right.
game really changes people's lives. So the more that I was in the gym and around people and learning how the game had really impacted their lives, I just felt like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I can't be the only one who would love to hear these stories. And these are stories of everyday people, like commissioners who are dedicating their time and their money and their energy. People who are running programs like Coach Rose at Millbank, and Coach Vito, who was there for a long time pre the pandemic. So all these different people that I was meeting, and the coaches and the dads and the moms who were coming into the gym day in and day out, helping their kids get better. So that's kind of where it was born. And it was really just a love and a passion for the game, but then really starting to understand how impactful the game can be on so many different levels of someone's life. So really that's where I decided to just pick up the camera and start documenting it, and talking to people and learning more about their stories.
Now, for those that maybe attended Dykeman or any of the any of the events that go on in New York City, it's definite. Almost 9 times out of 10, you're going to see Erin there, and with her camera in hand. You take some incredible shots, and that camera definitely put that camera to work.
Yes.
But how do you approach capturing the essence of a basketball game, and what storytelling techniques do you use through your lens?
Wow, really good questions. What? That's crazy. So let me tell you, when I started shooting basketball, right? So it's different. I would take portraits, lifestyle photos. I have a creative business, so I would take product shots, obviously photos of my children, family members, whatever. Shooting basketball, whole different game.
Right.
Like, no pun intended. Totally different game. So it was a major learning curve for me. Basketball is constant motion. So it's learning different settings on the camera, and then it's an unpredictable game, right? So it's like, one, being a fan is a blessing and a curse. One, you can sometimes anticipate things that are going to happen, which is great. Two, being a fan, I learned very early on, I missed so many shots because the fangirl in me was so excited about what was happening court that I got so caught up in the moment of being a fan that I forgot, like, oh yeah, you're supposed to take photos of this. So it was a real learning curve for me to start to understand how to shoot basketball, because it is different than shooting other things, as any motion sport is. So that was a huge learning curve for me. So when I look back at the photos from like 6 years ago compared to now, I'm like, whoa, like huge difference. So that's also, to compare it to the game as well, it's about reps, right? So the more you practice, the more reps you take, the better you get. So same thing with the photo or the ball. So I learned a lot through the years of shooting. And how I tell the story that's a good question. I mean, one, obviously trying to capture emotion is really important, trying to capture that. And that is, there's so many options when you're at like a street ball game, like a Dykeman, right? Like, because you have the crowd and they're really involved, and you have the coaches, everybody kind of in street ball, they're big personalities, even the players. So it's a little bit easier to capture some of that emotion, but each park kind of has their own vibe and their own energy. So it's about kind of capturing that. But I also really rely heavily on my iPhone for capturing some of that behind the scenes or quick video hits as well. So that kind of became a new approach that I was taking to the storytelling. I love to have either if I'm getting a photo, I love to have the behind the scenes of the photo actually developing in front of your eyes, or seeing the shot and then talking to someone about that play or whatever. So it's really cool to have both. And that's where, it's great for Instagram too, which is where most of the stuff lives. So, or just kind of started TikTok with Ballers Journal, but we'll see. But anyway, so it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of what my go-to has been with my lens.
Right. So I mean, like you said, from being, I've grabbed the camera as well. But like you said, capturing that emotion, that's really, even from looking at your photos, that's evident that you're capturing, from the announcers to the people, in the crowd to, to the actual players. It's just not the players that you're taking pictures of. You're taking pictures of the whole experience. Is an experience. And so that's what, that's, definitely kudos to you for doing that. And you do a great job at it. But what were some of your biggest challenges that you faced when establishing yourself in a predominantly male industry, and how did you, get to overcome those?
Oh, wow, you got the heavy hitting questions tonight.
Hey, this is what I do.
I like it. Great question. Still working on that, not gonna lie. It is definitely male dominated, but I will say, I feel really blessed and grateful for the basketball community in New York City. Everyone has been so welcoming and kind, and inviting me into the spaces and allowing me to capture it and document it. Yes, there are a lot of men in the parks and on the court shooting. Luckily, I've had really good experiences, and a lot of people have been very supportive. I will say the few female shooters and content creators that are out there, we do form like a really good bond, and we really do show up for each other and support each other online and off. So that's been really cool to experience, getting to know the other female creators that are in the space. But luckily, I've had a lot of support from the males, capturing the content as well. So it's been a good experience. I mean, it's definitely a boys club, though, not gonna lie. And there's been moments, but it's just about staying true to who you are and staying focused on what's in front of you. And I love the game, I love the people, and that's where I stay focused, not on the sideline. So and I feel like when you're respectful, you get what you put out, right? So I try to always be respectful, and I feel like most people return that.
And also, I think, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, kind of like your camera kind of, you let your camera speak for you sometimes as well. You, like I said earlier, you take some incredible shots. So, male or female, you're probably, you're up there with the best. And so, people want good product. People want good pictures, and people want good, good content. So that's what you provide, male or female. Again, you're probably one of the best that I've come across. So salute to you for that.
Thank you so much.
Um,
I would appreciate that.
but we've been in the game for some time, for some years now.
Yep.
And now that you have those years under your belt, can you share a memorable moment from a game or event that you captured, and why did it kind of stand out to you?
Oh, there's so many
I
good
know.
ones. This is a tough question because there's so many good ones. And each park, like I said before, each park has their own energy, their own vibe, their regulars, right? So it's not always about the celebrities because there's been plenty of those that come through and NBA players who play or come to support and show up, and sit and watch. I have a couple. I think one of my biggest, most viral moments was Meek Mill at Dykeman. That was like a really big moment. And being from Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, and having Meek show up, and then Zookeeper was there, and he played Dreams and Nightmares, and Meek stood up and was singing along, and I captured that photos and video, posted the video, it went viral. So a lot of people remember that video. So I think that's one of my like most viral moments that I'm known for. And Dykeman is kind of home away from home. Shout out Kenny Stevens and Naya and Miss B, the whole team over there. Their family, adore them. They've been so good to me from the jump. So always show them love. So Meek was a really big moment. I think one of the moments that I will never, ever, ever forget, and it was right at the beginning of starting the Ballers Journal. Coach Rose at Millbank was kind enough to extend an invitation, secret event that was taking place, and Kobe Bryant showed up at Millbank in Harlem. And I will never forget that moment. It was a very
Rose, I'm still mad at Rose for not telling me about
oh yeah, sorry, I don't want to get him in
no,
trouble.
no, that was incredible. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was an amazing moment, and I will never forget it. I have a photo, brought a Ballers Journal T-shirt. Never thought I would ever have the
Wow.
opportunity. And at this point, Lawrence and I were still working together on the Ballers Journal, and we walked over to Kobe and we handed him the T-shirt, and he said, "All right, so let's go." And we were both of us like froze, and we're like, "Go where?" And he's like, "Do you want a photo or not?" And we were like, "What?" So
Wow.
we have a photo, and Kobe is holding up the Ballers Journal T-shirt. And
Wow.
first of all, like it's like hard to even process still to this day because people pay a ton of money for a photo op like that, right? That's like marketing on 1,000. And I'm from a marketing background, so I was like, I can't believe he even just offered to do that. Like it was so kind and like generous of him in the middle of this whole thing to do that. So I will never forget it. It complete. And I was not, and don't hate me when I say this, don't judge me, I was never a diehard Kobe fan. I mean, like, I respect his game, obviously, but I wasn't, they're Kobe fans. Like, I would never claim to be that. After that day, I went and did a ton of reading and research about Kobe. And I'm really big into meditation. And that's when I learned about how big into meditation he is as well. So I had a whole different, I became a whole different fan of Kobe from that moment forward. But unforgettable. Without the Ballers Journal, it never would have happened. And that's kind of how I feel about it in general. It has opened so many doors, and I've met so many amazing people who a lot of them are truly friends now, friends and family. And I can't imagine my life without them, and it wouldn't have happened without this. So it's really a passion project that turned into a whole new life, so it's something I'm so grateful for every single day. When you love something and you're super passionate about it, when you pour into it, it's amazing the things that you get in return.
Incredible moments that you mentioned with the with Meek and the Kobe situation. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Um, So, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, right? You know that Erin collaborates with different, different leagues, teams, etc. How has collaborating with brands like Nike Pro City and others kind of influenced your work and broaden your perspective as a creative?
Yeah, so it's been an amazing opportunity. Shout out to Bernard Bowen for bringing me in on that journey of Pro City. It's been super cool because I've gotten to really grow that brand online, and it was fun because it was kind of, let's try this, let's try that, let's see what works. So I got to be really creative with it and with not too many boundaries or parameters. So that was really fun to really just kind of experiment and have fun with it. So, shooting the photos, in-game photos, and then doing post-game interviews of the players. And we definitely have pros come through. We had the Knicks right after they signed Jalen Brunson. Julius Randle, and Obi Toppin came to play at Hostos when we were up there in the Bronx. That was a really cool moment, really exciting. The gym was packed, the energy was crazy. It was amazing. So yeah, just getting to interview overseas players that are really back home for the summer, or our friends, or even guys like Bones Highland, who came through this summer like multiple times, showed so much love to Pro City. He's an amazing talent and he's a cool guy, like fun to be around,
Right.
sense of humor, humble, great with the kids. So it's been a great experience, and I've learned a lot. It's been a learning, creative process. So I'm really thankful for that.
Oh man, that's incredible to even have the opportunity to kind of rub shoulders with those guys that you mentioned, and like you said at Nike Pro City, just having the flexibility to kind of be able to make mistakes, or just be
Yeah,
creative, and be able to just kind of um, go along with it as you're going along with it, just kind of on
right.
the fly almost,
Yep.
but kind of having fun with it at the same time. So shout
Yep.
out to Bernard Bowen for that.
Definitely.
Incredible league, and you guys are doing an incredible thing over there at
Yep.
Nike Pro City.
Thank
But
you.
I touched on this a little bit in terms of you being, a female photographer in sports, right? But what changes as a female photographer in sports? What changes have you seen in the representation and the opportunities for women in the industry?
It's been really amazing to watch how it is shifting and growing. I was shooting the W for several years. This is my first year not really shooting, and I did shoot the draft, but it's become so popular and so big that it's not as easy to shoot. So it's been great to see, there's advantages and disadvantages to everything, right? So not being able to shoot and be on baseline is sad for me, but I'm being selfish in that sense, right?
Right.
But I would rather give that up for the love of the game and to see the growth of women's sports, more specifically WNBA, and the female content creators that are killing it, that are shooting, that are the team photographers and are doing an amazing job. So it's a beautiful thing. I love to see it. Women bring a different perspective than men. Both are equally important, but I love to see women, most especially, representing other women, showing that creative content for other women. We just give a different perspective. And so I think it's really amazing to have been a part of it and to continue to see it grow. And I'm a tiny, tiny, tiny piece of it, but I feel very grateful to be a part of it.
No, for sure, and there's a lot of women that are making great strides in the space of
Mhm.
in the creative space, and in basketball. But yeah, they're doing incredible job in kind of shifting that narrative, and kind of shining a light on the women who are doing their thing. So salute to all of you guys.
Yep.
Can you describe the creative process when you're preparing for a major event like the WNBA draft or something to that magnitude? How do you set your goals and expectations for what you want to accomplish at those events?
So I don't know if you're going to love this answer, but I'm going to be honest. I'll be totally honest with you. The draft is so stressful. It's so stressful. It's high anxiety. It's nonstop until it stops. And then when it stops, it's really just beginning. It's just a whole different phase of the editing and the selecting and the posting, all the things. The goal is get the shot. That's the goal. It's get the shot. So it's we're in the fourth. There's 3 seconds on the clock.
Get the
inbounding the ball, and you get the ball to hopefully your top shooter, and they take the shot, and you pray that it goes in. And that's exactly how it feels when you're trying to get the shot. So the moment that Caitlin Clark comes in the door and steps on, and here's the other thing: you're not the only photographer in the spot, right? So it's about not only getting the shot, because that's goal number one, get the shot. Make sure it's not blurry. Make sure that someone doesn't step in front of you. You're fighting for your angle, right? So get the shot is the number one goal. But then 2, can you get the best shot, a more creative shot, a different background? Who is she talking to? Did you catch her talking to Angel Reese when they hugged on the carpet or whatever? So there's levels to this, right? So but the number one goal is you got to show up, bring your A game, and get the shot. So then we move, then we can take it, we can level up from there. So it's high anxiety in moments like that, because once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. So you have to make sure that you're really prepared. So, and trust me, I've gone through it all. My battery has died. I didn't have the other one in my pocket that I thought I did. My card maxed out. I needed to switch my card in the moment that I missed the shot, whatever. There's plenty of shots that I have missed over and over and over. The only good thing about that, for the most part, is nobody really knows exactly what you've missed. I mean, some people do, but not everybody, the average person. And so even if I miss the shot, again, it's in a game, if you miss the game winner, you have to live with that same thing. It's the same thing. You missed the shot. And so that haunts you a little bit, but you learn from it. And I always preach it every day to my boys. It's lessons, not losses. So every single time I've missed a shot or didn't have my battery or whatever, it just gave me another opportunity to show up better the next time. So really, that's kind of that's what I've learned so far. And I'm still learning. It's a process.
Wow, those are some real gems for those people who want to be photographers out there or want to pick up the camera and shoot these events. Just kind of like you said, get the shot right now, and then when you get the shot, get the best shot. And
right.
you can kind of see if you're on the baseline and something great happens, somebody gets a dunk or somebody does something incredible. You can tell who missed the shot by just look down the baseline and see somebody going, damn.
100%. And I miss a lot of those.
Right. I mean, hey, Michael Jordan missed a lot of game winners too. So
there you go. We're human. We can't be perfect. But when you get the shot, I got a couple shots this summer, but one in particular that I got at Pro City, we did the chip game outside underneath the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, that was, oh man.
And I got a shot of this kid, Asher, who just signed to OTE. And he came up with a massive dunk. And when he dunked, he hung on the rim and his leg kicked out. He looked right at me and stuck his tongue out. And it's just like this perfect moment. And I got the shot. And it was that. And there's no better feeling. Like that's like when you know you got it and you know it's good. Oh, like,
you know it's in that card, that memory card. You know it's in there.
That's right. It's like the and one, where when you're like, like that's how it feels. That's how it feels. So that's my and one type of moment. So yeah.
Oh man. That's great, man. Those are some real good gems for those people aspiring to be, a photographer at some point. But in terms of, sports photography, what like the technical skills, right? What technical skills do you believe are essential for, aspiring sports photographers, and how can people kind of develop these skills?
Again, going to be totally honest with you.
That's all we can do.
I am not technologically advanced at all. These cameras these days, the mirrorless cameras, there's so many things that you can learn about these cameras that I know a lot of shooters out here know that I do not. I'm not going to lie to you. I know you need to know the three basic things, which is your ISO and your shutter and your f-stop. Okay.
Right.
Those are the three things you need to master. So everything else for me is a bonus, right? So when I can learn other features of the camera, that's a bonus. But those three things, without those three things, you're not a photographer. You need to know how to manually adjust your camera. And those are the three things you need to learn. So anything above that, to me, again, I am not a tech person. I do not go deep into the menus of the camera. I should, and I do, and I'm going to try to challenge myself to be a little bit better about it. But those are the three things with the camera. And then obviously post-production. So when you're editing, after making the selects, I personally use Lightroom to edit. So learning the software. Again, I am not a tech person. I do not dive deep into programs. Lightroom is pretty self-explanatory, easy to use. So it's not, you don't have to be super technologically advanced to know how to do either. So luckily for me, because otherwise I'd be in trouble. So yeah, so I am not the tech person. I know there are lots of people who can do amazing things with these cameras. That is not me. I'll just be honest.
Now, Erin, you spoke about social media a little bit earlier about going viral and things of that nature. But how has like social media impacted your work as a photographer, both positively and negatively?
Yeah, both. Definitely both. It's negatively, I think you can get caught up in that comparison game, right? Everybody has their own aesthetic. Everybody has their own unique perspective through their lens. And sometimes you can be very inspired by somebody else's work. And then other times you can really look at it and beat yourself up and be like, man, I could never be that good. Or, wow, that photo is fantastic. I wonder if I'll ever have a photo that good. So you can get caught up just like anything else on social media and start comparing yourself and being a little too hard on yourself based on, your work. So I think that's one of the negative things.
Right.
The positive though is the community and everything that the support, right? So especially in the New York City basketball community, I feel like we're all pretty supportive of each other's craft and our own unique creative style. So I appreciate that. So there is a good support and community around basketball in New York City and the content creators. And I feel like we do show, a lot of love to each other. So I really appreciate that. It always feels good to have someone you're sharing the baseline with be like, wow, that photo is amazing. I remember when you took that, you killed it. That's great. And I do the same for other creatives in the space. So, there's advantages and disadvantages. I think the other thing is, you have to stay true to your craft and to what you're passionate about and what you love, because you can get caught up in that social media rat race of trying to get likes and comments and reshares and collabs, all the things. I really don't get too caught up on that. I'm also
Right.
older, so I'm not 22 and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to build something like, like I'm not trying to get LeBron James to look at my photos. Like I'm like not doing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just not what I'm here for. And no shade to anyone who is doing that. Good, do your thing. Do what makes sense for you and your brand and for your creative style, whatever your goals and objectives are. Do you. That's what I say. Do you, whatever makes sense for you. And that kind of stuff just doesn't make sense for me. I follow the love and the light, and I do it for the passion. And mostly I do a lot of, under the high school stuff and, my kids and their friends and things like that. So I'm not really, my goal isn't NBA and WNBA. That's always amazing. And it's a blessing to be able to capture that and be in the same room as those legends and the greatest athletes. But that's not really what I'm here for. I'm here for community and to showcase the people who really are putting the hard work in New York City, in all the different neighborhoods, who are giving back to the kids and who are changing lives. Really, that's what my focus is. But I'm a fan of the game from grassroots all the way up to the league, obviously. But yeah, so stay true to you and to your brand and what makes sense to you, and do you. And if you do that, it's all gonna work out. It's all gonna make sense.
Terrific. You got gem after gem, Erin, gem after gem.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But a little earlier we mentioned you having the flexibility at Nike Pro City to kind of just go out there and do what you do. How do you balance the kind of maintaining your artistic vision while meeting the client expectations in commercial projects, like working for a Pro City or someone else, or not the league or something like that?
So I'm not gonna, again, I'll be very honest. There are times I get real caught up in that. If I get a job and I get nervous because what if, and I'll never forget one of my mentors, and I was a huge fan of his work. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Ricky Powell. He was, a famous photographer, street photographer here in New York City, and also a huge sports fan. And had the opportunity to interview him for the Ballers Journal. He's a diehard Knicks fan, West Fourth, fan. So he would always tell me, you can't, they see your work and they hire you for you, right? So you have to always just, again, stay true to yourself and do you. And you have to understand that when you're hired, they've seen your work, they know what you're known for. And so they're trusting you to bring that creative style. Now, obviously, if there's creative briefs and things you have to walk through, you have to make adjustments. So there's certain, different types of shots that are not necessarily the more creative, but they're more, for the branding or whatever it may be. We always make adjustments, just like in the game of basketball, there's always adjustments, right? So we make those adjustments, but overall, again, making sure that the people are familiar with your style and your eye, which is why having the portfolio is a great thing. So when they see it, they know exactly what they're getting. So that kind of helps to ease the anxiety walking into a job, but it's still nerve-wracking. Again, we're going back to, you have to get the shot. So, and sometimes it's easier than other times. So it's just about, again, staying true and understanding, listen, their mistakes are going to be made. It's not about the mistakes. It's about how you recover from them. So it's about being quick on your feet and learning how to adjust and pivot in those moments, to make sure everybody is happy.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's one thing to just kind of, you have to make them happy, but like you said, if they're hiring you, they know what to expect already. So kind of go out there, have fun, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yep.
But as we go through this journey, as you've gone through your journey with the camera and the Ballers Journal, you're also growing as a person, right? You're also, learning things, what to do, what not to do. But what personal growth have you experienced through your journey in basketball photography, and how has it shaped your identity as a creator?
Wow, that's deep. I don't think we have enough time for my answer on this one. That is deep and so many ways and things. I think that wow, that's such a good question, and it's challenging to answer in a short form.
Right.
You know, I
I understand.
I think that we've touched on a lot of it. I think it's lessons, not losses, right? And that's really become one of my mantras every single day. I'm human. I make mistakes all the time. And it's not, again, about the mistake. It's about how you recover from it. So I think that's kind of been one of my biggest things. Also, it's really helped me get to know all different types of people from all different backgrounds. And it gives you perspective, right? And it really helps you to appreciate where you've come from, appreciate where you currently are, and appreciate where you're headed. And everybody has a story and everybody has something to contribute, right? So I think it's really about paying attention and listening and observing. And when I have the camera in my hand, I'm able to go to a space where I am able to really see somebody through my lens and learn a little bit more about them. And I try to take a little piece of all of that and apply it to my life because, even though I may not have had the same experiences, spending some time with someone and capturing them in their element, you get to see some beautiful moments and some heartbreaking moments and some joyful moments and lots of different things, right? And I think it's just about really just appreciating people for who they are and where they are and applying that to the journey, because it's really just one big journey and we're all just here trying to learn and grow and do better every day, and just respecting that and appreciating that. So, I could go on and on and on. There are so many moments, lessons, and people who have impacted me and have changed my life, really. And I'll be forever grateful for, the Baller's Journal and all the people that it's brought in, across my path and into my journey. And I've learned so much. And the other thing I'll end it with, it's all about perspective, right? And there's so much love and light in this world. And I know we're bombarded every day with hate and evil and horrible news, but it's really about, where you put your lens and what you're looking for. And there is so much love and light out there if you're really looking for it. So
yeah, there is. And you just got to go find it and go where the love is and stay there.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what I try to focus on.
Right. Now, throughout this, these years that you've been involved in this world, things change. There's different trends that emerge. But what trends do you see emerging in like just kind of in media and in photography? And do you plan on kind of adopting those changes, or you just kind of do what feels good to you, or do you try to go along with the trends, or how do you kind of tackle that?
I mean, yes and no. I obviously I pay attention. I'm aware. I mean, I'm on Instagram, so I see some of the things that are happening and popping up. But I don't allow that to determine how I approach the Baller's Journal or how I approach my photography. I think, again, I've said it multiple times, but do you? And I think so trends are great if you want to hop on them and maybe get some exposure, get some likes, get some reshares, get a viral moment here or there, right? But me personally, and this again, just my perspective, I think when you're authentic and genuine and you stay true to what really speaks to you and your soul and your purpose and your love, that's usually the stuff that tends to do the best.
Right.
So while trends I think are important to be aware of, and if there's something that you think is funny or fun or cool and you want to hop on, absolutely do it. That's, have fun with it. That's what social media is about, right? But I don't think you should be studying every trend and trying to just be who everybody else is, right? I think that, take it with a grain of salt. If it applies to kind of what you're doing, jump on that trend and ride the wave. Otherwise, always know who you are and what your core value is in terms of your brand. And that's kind of what I try to stay centered and aligned with. And then anything else is just bonus or fun. Just have fun with it.
Right. And if you don't love this thing, we can tell. People can tell if you're not in this for the right reasons, and so
1000%. Yes.
you can tell through your work, through your demeanor, through just everything that your heart isn't in this.
Yep.
And so if you're not in this for the right reasons, it's a quick recipe for disaster, or for just kind of burning out and fizzling out and just kind of letting go.
Yep.
But what advice would you give to aspiring photographers looking to carve their own path in the basketball world?
Well, I think if, here in New York City, one of the things that I always tell people who reach out to me for advice is, always be respectful when you're walking into a park or a gym. Know your place. If you're brand new there, you don't step in front of other photographers. You need to be respectful of the people who have come before you. You need to introduce yourself to the commissioners or the people running, ask who's running it, make sure you have permission to shoot. Just be respectful of the gym, the court, wherever you are. And I think everybody here in this community is pretty friendly and willing to, offer advice and welcome in newcomers, as long as you're respectful and kind. So I think that, that's one of the biggest, be a good human. Just be a good human when you show up. That
goes a long way.
Yeah, it goes a long way. It's really helpful to start out on with just being a good human. So I think, that's that. And then also bring your own style, do your own thing, be respectful and get to know people, get their Instagram, follow them, support their work. It's really just about networking like any other job or industry. It's the same thing. So it's just about paying your dues.
Right. And Erin, like I've mentioned, it's been years that we've kind of been involved in this thing, right?
Yep.
And I'm not quite sure if you got into it thinking about this or not, right? But what legacy do you hope to leave in the basketball community? And how do you kind of envision influencing future generations of photographers and other creatives that are out there?
Wow. Honestly, I don't know that I have any space to leave a legacy per se. It's all about the love. That's what motivated me to be here. It's what continues to motivate me when I pick up my camera. I love the game. I love supporting New York City basketball. I love the people. And if that's the one thing that I'm known for, it's really just about showing love and capturing love. That's always been my main goal. So if there's anything that I would want to be remembered for, it would be that. I hope that people feel that when they're around me, that I'm really there to support and really, capture the love and just show love. So that's really my biggest thing. It's really what keeps me in here doing this, the love of the game and the people and the community.
And had it not been for that love, we probably wouldn't be speaking right now on this Legends Talk episode. So
right, exactly.
Definitely. But Erin, we're nearing the nearing the end of this interview. That's all the questions I have for you. I really, really
They were really
appreciate.
good questions, Cal. Like you really got me. I
Hey,
was like,
I try
I
to get some thought-provoking questions out here, you know?
really did. You made me think tonight, and I was like, wow, okay. So I hope I did your questions justice with my answers. I
Absolutely.
tried my best, but yeah, I really appreciate this.
You got the job. You got the job, Erin.
Perfect. Great. Great. I
If this was a job interview, you got the job.
All right, got it. Thank you. That makes me feel good.
But
So
I
yeah, but
would
I
like
appreciate you.
I would like to say that on behalf of myself, the basketball world, and just anyone who's ever kind of had the pleasure of meeting you, um, or been a subject of one of your pictures, or just anything um, that has anything to do with coming in contact with you. Thank you for kind of dedicating your heart and soul to the game that we all love. Your passion, it definitely shines brightly, and I can't wait to see what's next for you and the Bowlers Journal.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate you and all that you do as well.
Where can people find you? Where can people follow you on Instagram? That we're up to that part where you kind of you tell
Plug
your
it. The plug.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's the Ballers Journal. It's the_Ballers_Journal on Instagram and TikTok now, which is bear with me on that. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to really be a thing or not, but I'll mention it. So yeah, that's where you can find the photos and interviews and behind the scenes. And currently, I'm working with Jordan Brand's City Is Mine. So we have high school and middle school going on. I'm in the high school gym. So a lot of great talent coming through this month in October. So that's kind of what I'm focused on right now.
Hey, Erin, thank you so much for stopping in. Much appreciated. And I wish you the best of luck in anything that you do moving forward.
I wish the same for you. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate you, Cal.
Much love, E. Appreciate you.
Thanks.